Misfits. It's season 2 of the ComX Friday Night Drink and Draw, with your hosts Sizzle and Spedsy, and the man they call Quick, plus Australia's most attractive artists and creators, many of whom have books for sale at ComX.shop. Alright Dave, you can start drawing.
Yeah, if you can make sense of it, good luck. Welcome to Friday Night's Drink and Draw with ComX. Nice one, Spedsy.
Nice. Very nice, Spedsy. Very nice, mate.
Welcome to episode 59.
59?
The Dave Dye episode.
Oh, nice. 13th flavor.
Yeah, the year of my birth.
Hey.
59.
Yes, welcome to the show. We had a bit of a win here at Spedsy HQ. We got a light in our toilet. It's been the Wild West for the last 2 months. Our light broke. We need an electrician. I have a 6-year-old son who has been peeing in the dark. And he could barely make it with the lights on.
Can't blame it on him, Rob.
So you've been blaming him for the mess you've been making, mate. Right?
Disgraceful.
Comics about toilets available at psychogender.com. What? No. Quick, welcome back to the show, friend. Nice to see you. Looking good with the haircut.
Thanks, man. The mirror in my toilet bathroom works, so I haven't need to replace the mirror light.
Great. That's good news. Speaking of haircuts, Mr. Vella, hello, sir. Welcome.
Yes, welcome. You stunned me because I just gave myself a haircut about half an hour before, actually.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Oh, very nice too.
Yeah.
Another one of your skills, mate.
And a man who would long for a haircut. It's been a while. Nick May, welcome, sir. And his bald brother, of course, back after a few weeks of hiatus. It's David Dye.
Hey, Dave.
G'day. Cheers, everybody.
Hello.
And she of the Hollywood Hills, it's Katie Hollywood. Welcome.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, great. I had some internet issues. I'm just wondering, I'm just hoping it stays. So
Fingers crossed.
No, sounding good.
cool.
And then the man with a voice of a pro wrestler. Finally, this has been a long time coming. Shaun Keenan is on the show, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome.
Hello.
Guys, yes.
Here, Comics
The
Movies.
only guy that can't draw to come on to Drink and Draw. I love it.
You'll have to do a lot of drinking, mate.
Yeah, that's it. I've got the wrong drink. I need to go out and get an actual harder one than that. I think so.
What vodka? That'll do you, mate. That'll do you quite well. Or gin.
Well, so Shaun has a bit of a hard out, as they say in the biz. So we're going to chat about Darth Vader in just a little bit. First, we're going to get cracking.
Now it's that part of the show where we shine a big shiny spotlight on one of our creator friends. This week, we welcome
Name
and talk about their creative journey. Please, everybody, make some noise for
Name.
All right, Mr. Keenan, you're in the hot seat, my friend. It should be known, I'm a big fan of yours. You're someone with quite a drive for this creative business. And I don't know you too well, but what I do know, you're an upstanding gentleman. And so it's about damn time we had you on the show.
That's so not true.
Yeah, SK texted me and he said all those rumors. No, so I want to know lots of things, but I want to bombard you with a question first because this is something that I don't know what your answer would be, and I'm very interested. How do you feel? What's the state of Australian indie comics at the moment?
Wow, I tell you what, other than Star Wars, I'm a big Star Wars fan. I have not read any sort of mainstream comics for, I reckon, about 18 to 24 months. And all of the stuff that I've read is either Australian indie stuff or American indie stuff. You know, a lot of stuff on Kickstarter and everything. But I feel COVID has really made everyone in the Australian community lift their game. I think they've seen more and more people jump onto Kickstarter and that type of stuff. And now the stuff that I see coming out compared to like 3 or 4 years ago is really professional level stuff. I think people really understand what is required to put out a good book, and I think the internet, these type of shows and everything have really fast tracked a lot of those younger guys into coming through much quicker than some of us older guys have. So yeah.
And then, of course, your own journey as both a writer but also as a publisher. I'm very curious to know both of those. Let's tackle one at a time. I guess I am assuming writing started first. Can you take us back where your love affair with words and stories began and how you turned that into making books?
Yeah, so for me, I actually struggled to read as a kid. So it wasn't until later in life that I actually realized that I was a visual learner. So if you actually show me how to do something, I'm much better at picking that up than actually, picking up a manual. And I'm one of those guys that never reads a manual and will trial by error type of thing, So for me, it was actually my mum that got me into comics to begin with, which was from a young age. It really helped with the words and the pictures, kind of like, just more advanced picture books. That kind of got me into reading. And after I got into comics, and then I was, creating my own stories and everything like that. So I pretty much did that until about, I reckon, would have been about 16, 17, and kind of, wanted to be one of the cool kids or whatever. So, I played AFL or Australian Rules football, and, did pretty well at that, and kind of, stepped away from any sort of creative projects or anything that I'd done creatively. So, and it wasn't until I started going to comic conventions. I think my first one was back in 2007. Really enjoyed that, and then kind of had a look at what people were doing, and that got my creative juices flowing. So a lot of people will know I started off doing like limited edition prints and those type of thing with different artists, and then being around those people all the time then made me want to create my own comic book. So I was very naive and kind of jumped in at the deep end and was like, I've got this massive 50-story arc that I want to kind of do, where now whenever I talk to people, I'm like, do a mini series, do an anthology or a mini series or something. Start
do what
small.
I didn't do.
Yeah, do what I didn't do. That's it. So
yeah. Well, so how did you go? Like, it takes some moxie to start doing this. How did you find an artist, or I guess did that come from already doing the print stuff? How did that work? How did you know? Where did you go for answers? How many mistakes did you make?
I feel like I've been very lucky enough to fall in with very good people. So I think that comes partly with my personality and the way I'm able to talk to people, but also just taking the punt on asking people where a lot of other people wouldn't. So I was a lover of a book called Fanboys versus Zombies, which was by Boom Studios. An amazing artist on it was called Jerry Gaylord. The second last issue had come out by Boom. I couldn't see that he was working on anything else. I'd already lined up an artist for XCT, and I was like, I tell you what, I'm going to reach out to this guy. What's the worst thing that he can say is no? And he actually said yes, which was amazing. So I got to work with someone straight away that had kind of been in that professional field, from the get-go. So I learned a lot off him in regards to how to provide feedback, being a little bit more diplomatic and sensitive around certain things. And the biggest thing I worked out was I speak a lot of slang. So when you're using or doing a script with someone internationally, make sure that you know exactly what you're asking for and they know what you're asking for. Because I remember this huge splash page that I got had Spartacus, jumping off the panel in a thong. And I was looking at it going, what the hell is this drawing? It is not that type of comic. Like, why? When I went back through my script, I said, Spartacus is wearing thongs. Yeah. And in America, a thong is a mankini type of thing. So I learned very early on to make sure that I communicated well in my scripts and everything. But and from there, the conventions were great. There was a lot of connections with people that have been in the industry for a while. I do find that the Australian industry is quite, open if you're willing to ask questions. And then there was a Melbourne meetup group that actually met quite regularly. So that was really good from when I first started. So a lot of people would pass on their knowledge in regards to, script advice, paneling, turn pages, all of that kind of stuff that I had no idea about. So, just literally head first into the abyss. So I went.
Wow. What was it like getting your first page back on your first book?
I still get just as excited now, to be honest. I think for me, it's literally because I can't draw. So when I get like something like this sent to me, like I find it really hard to be critical because I'm just like, I pretty much love everything. And I think that's a good thing and a bad thing sometimes. But I love getting new pages. I think there's nothing better than when you crack open a box of new books and that new book smell and everything like that. I'll never get tired of that, I don't think.
Well, let's talk about what I assume is your first book, right? XCT.
Yeah. Yep.
So tell us, give us the, for those that don't know, give us the little sort of synopsis and how it came to be and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, so XCT is set in the year 2069. It's based around the character Spartacus. He's been cloned, retrained, and forced to fight in an international tournament called the Extreme Champion Tournament. And there's a lot of underlining issues there around how we treat people. They're forced to fight in the death and then kind of, putting a twist on different mythologies and everything. So it's quite an action-packed book. It's really kind of jam-packed with different characters from all walks of life, a lot of different representation, and I get really excited about all of that type of stuff.
I would admit to a little bit of ignorance when I met you at a convention just recently and I wanted to grab one of your books. The one that leapt out to me was 13th Labor, and it wasn't until I got it home and I realized you didn't write it. That's obviously the publishing arm of your talents. So tell us, at what point through your journey did you realize you can parlay what you've learned and sort of give that to other people and help them put books out?
Yeah, well, I think for me, I've always been in leadership roles through I started at McDonald's as a 14 and 9-month-old guy, worked my way up to crew trainer and then a shift manager at McDonald's. I worked as a manager in retail, and then even when I went on to do more professional work with Optus, councils, all that, I've always kind of worked my way up to a leadership role. So I feel quite comfortable in being able to manage projects and keep people on track while also building their confidence and their improving their work as well. So for me, I kind of worked with Jerry on XCT. He had already been had some success, but he kind of had gone on to leave XCT to go work for Blizzard. Comics2movies, Blizzard. I don't know which one to work for. Then he went from Blizzard to Warner Brothers and is now working on the latest updated of X-Men '97, the animated series. So
cool.
So I've got a new artist, which is Alexander Malashev, and I'd worked with a couple of other artists that had been doing the prints for me, and they had gone on from just doing prints to one of my good friends, Dave Atsey, kind of started off doing prints for me. Literally chucked his job in at Mitre 10 because I was I wouldn't say mentoring him, but kind of just giving him advice and around his work and stuff like that. And I was like, well, what do you actually want to do? And he kind of was like, well, I want to do children's books. So I was like, well, you're not going to do children's books by doing prints for me. You need to go out and start doing children's books. And, now he's doing stuff for Anne Doe. He's done Anne Doe's latest kids book. He's been in Skulltastic, several books in Skulltastic. And so after kind of working with a few people, I'm like, all these people have loved me and left me. But I kind of looked at that as a good sign that, I could kind of say, okay, Comics2movies is that like springboard into a better career path or all that type of stuff. So the next thing I would try to do is that publishing side of things. And, I made a lot of mistakes along the way. I'll put my hand up. I printed 5,327 copies of XCT 0.
Whoa. Jeez,
yeah, fucking crazy. Sorry. Crazy. Who thought I would sell that amount of comics? I'm just like totally naive. But so just being able to kind of help people navigate those pitfalls in regards to what you're realistically looking to sell, where to sell them, how to sell them. A lot of people that I knew were printing comics and then trying to sell them to stores, not realizing that the print cost was more than the store was going to pay because they need to take a cut from books and everything like that. So trying to help people circumvent all that. So the 13th Flavor, as you mentioned, is the first one that I've had no creative input whatsoever. And I published that book because I loved it. I actually read the first one when I reached out to the guy who had a failed Kickstarter attempt, and I backed that Kickstarter, and I was just like, I need to read this. I love the style. I love the concept. It's right up my alley. And when I read it, I went back to him and said, mate, can I have a go at trying to get this off the ground for you? So we've just finished the third Kickstarter for that, and that's going strength to strength now. So
wow, that's freaking awesome. I love that. Imagine, I mean, that guy I imagine was quite deflated, his Kickstarter not making it, but then to get you to reach out to him and I assume then it was with you sort of helming the Kickstarter of it all, fully funded and meant his book saw the light of day. That's freaking great.
Yeah, so I think he's really, really good and really grateful. He had he's not on Facebook, so his name's David Gay. Awesome guy. He's a demolitioner by day, so that's his day job. But super nice guy. Never met him before. He's from America, and it was again. I just thought I'll reach out. What's the worst thing you can say? No, I'm not interested. The type of thing, and he was like, let's give this a go, and so we're looking forward to releasing 4 early next year once I finalize this third campaign. So
wow. It's such a shame we just lost Katie, because I was like, after speaking to Shane, before we go to Darth Vader, there's a few things I need to catch up with Katie about, and now we've just lost her. So hopefully she comes back. But yeah, the man of many projects. What's on the docket at the moment? What's the next thing coming that people can look forward to?
What's the next thing, dude? I have a. I love that. I have such a busy second half of this year. So before the end of the year, we will release Aquila, which is a spin-off, not series, a spin-off story within our Fractured Shards universe. So I'm really excited about this one, because this is our first all-female project. So, my wife... Yeah, so my wife works within HR, and she's all about women power and representation. I've got 2 daughters myself, and I kind of took a step back and realized myself personally that I hadn't really worked with many women in the comic industry, and I really wanted to kind of change that. So we went out and spoke to a couple of artists, and Stephen had already lined up a writer, and before we realized that we actually had a whole female creative team. So it wasn't something that we deliberately set out to do, but it kind of all fell into place like that. So and I have to admit, the book got done quicker in like an amazing time, with little rework, and they couldn't have been more accommodating than any other project that I've worked on. So I'm super excited about that, especially with some of the people involved being fans of Fractured Shards, or fans of the actor Dan Furigal. To have fans involved in creating something else, I think is a really cool opportunity to kind of give your audience. So
wow. Now, we normally at the end of the show do like a self-promotion sort of thing, but just in case you're not here, where can people buy your books and find you and all that sort of stuff?
Yeah, so I'm ComX2movies everywhere. So I've got my website, which is brand new. I absolutely love it. Go check it out. So that's www.comics2movies.com.au. ComX2movies on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, although I have no idea what I'm doing on that platform. I can't dance. I do have a few moves, but they're not as good as the younger generation. I'm just posting about comics. Although I think my feed's full of my daughter at the moment. So.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, for the comics,
I do have lots of slips, don't I? Like,
for the Shaun fans,
my wife really loves my eyelashes. She reckons I've got beautiful eyelashes. So I'm surprised she'll pick that up with the glasses. But yeah.
That's awesome. Well, we are here to draw Darth Vader, so that's not the last you'll hear from Shaun, because he is our resident expert on all things Star Wars tonight. But Sis, we'll start with you, mate. Give us something. Darth Vader. Tell us about it.
I have to say my favorite Darth Vader scene came from Rogue One.
Mm-hmm.
The bit where they lead up to that first scene in New Hope, I love that. There's probably been a lot more, and I haven't seen a lot more, but that Darth Vader scene was amazing.
Yeah, I have a story, like a stupid story about that. So I went to see Rogue One with my brother-in-law. We often go see Marvel movies and Star Wars movies together. So he's my sister's partner, and my sister has a little boy, and he put his phone on silent, and he's like, "I'm not answering this for anybody. We're in the zone. We're watching it." I had my phone on silent, and it started buzzing in my pocket just as that scene started, and it's my sister. And so I'm thinking, holy moly, like something must be wrong, because she's tried to get him, he's not answered, so she's come to me. So I'm sitting there frantically saying, like, what's wrong? And watching the three dots, and it finally comes up with like, oh no, all good. Was just wondering what time the movie finishes. And then I look up and I see like basically the ending of one of the greatest Star Wars scenes ever. and all my mates texted me like, holy shit, have you seen it yet? Did you see Vader at the end? And I'm like, kind of. I was like, the real world beckoned for a second. I kind of missed it. So I'm really annoyed. So I've half seen it and half. Yeah, anyway. Quick, give us some Star Wars something or other. Star Wars Darth Vader.
It's funny, like, in preparation for tonight, I was just looking at Darth Vader's mask, and it's so strange. It's such an odd, like, thing. It's kind of got big, optimistic eyes, like fly eyes. Then the face is actually quite small. The weird triangle at the front of it. Like, I would have loved to have seen, and I think I've said this before on a past episode, I would have loved to have seen at the end of episode 3, Anakin Skywalker just like creating the mask, like deciding what it's gonna be, like because it's so obscure and it's only terrifying because we know Darth Vader. Otherwise, it's very strange. It looks like a clown gas mask. It's really threatening. It's got a Nazi helmet thing going on. That's kind of threatening if you know your World War II history. But that's all I've got to say about old Darth. He's a strange looking dude.
Tell us about flies and how you find them to be quite optimistic looking.
Big eyes, like big childlike eyes, Don't
they have like hundreds of little eyes, or is that spiders? That like the big
Annie?
Flies were designed by a manga artist.
Yeah.
Big eyes, small mouth.
Big square anime eyes. He looks kind of cute sometimes. You catch Darth Vader looking up, and you can see his brow up. He kind of looks like a positive child or something, who's in a storm of mustard gas or something like that.
Yeah. They used to say back in the day with the Iron Man's costume that they would get him to emote by drawing him on specific angles. So his eyes would always be the sluts sort of thing. But then if you draw him looking down at him, you can kind of get him to look kind of angry. And then if you draw a look at him up, he can kind of look a little bit sad because they're on a bit of an angle.
Sure. I always thought they just cheated when they drew Iron Man, to be honest.
I mean, I'm sure they
I'm like, well, he looks worried now, and they're slanted up.
But don't you guys call that artistic license?
Yes.
Yeah, that's right.
Hey, just go off topic. Did they ever cut to like, how they cut to Robert Downey Jr. in the helmet? Did they ever do that in the books? They cut to like techno face Tony Stark.
I thought you were going to say, do they ever cut to that with Vader? Because that would be messed up. I actually don't recall seeing that view. No. I've heard Kevin Smith say that Favreau invented it. I don't know if that is the case, but
I think he did. But I'd really like to see Darth Vader cam. That'd be pretty cool. All that weird scar tissue and
But they always leave it like ambiguous in the movies type of thing. Like, it's always shot from behind. Even in the latest Obi-Wan, it's like his mask is damaged, but you don't really see everything. And I think that that kind of not showing everything is what makes it scarier, because it leaves it to your imagination. It's like the really old good horror movies where you didn't get to see the monster until the last 10-15 minutes of the film. It was all about building up that suspense and everything. So I think the only time they actually show the full mask and what that looks like is in Return of the Jedi, right towards the end, as Luke's taking off the helmet and then the mask to see his father's face. So
Shaun, just while we've got you talking about Vader, what do you think? Like, I think we all look with rose-colored glasses now at the prequels. I saw Revenge of the Sith 3 times in the movies. I freaking loved it. But what like the humanizing of Darth Vader, and then suddenly making it, I don't know, for then the original trilogy, it becoming a bit of a tragedy sort of story now. Like, are you a fan of that? Thought it was weird?
So I loved all six movies when they came out. So,
Yep.
but I also, was very heavily invested in what they now call Star Wars Legends. Back in my day, it was called the Expanded Universe. So I'd read a lot of other stuff that had set up Anakin Skywalker, had set up Vader, and all that type of stuff. But for me, Revenge of the Sith got quite a bit of flack when it first came out, but that was one of my favorite out of the three. And for me, you talk about Vader, my holy shit moment is when he's going into the Jedi Temple, and you got
Skywalker.
Just like lights the lightsaber with no hesitation. It's just going to kill all these young kids, type of thing. And then it's like, I had to do it. Nah, mate, come on, you didn't have to do it. And then I'm again a big fan of Dave Filoni and what he's done within the Star Wars universe. And if you go back and look at what he did with the Clone Wars. It makes Anakin's downfall that more tragic, because everyone kind of sometimes has done the wrong thing for the right reason, and this guy has just done it on a galactic scale that has just killed millions, if not billions, of people. But it all came from a place of love or fear as well. But if anyone, a lot of us have children here and everything, what wouldn't you do to save the person you love? And I think that's a very interesting story, whether it's Star Wars or any other stories. And I find, I always loved action films and everything like that, but never really got emotionally invested about those stories, like say True Lies with Schwarzenegger and everything. But now, having children myself and going back and watching that, I see those scenes very differently when someone has taken a child or taken it's very different now. Like Prisoners, with Hugh Jackman. I watch those films and it invokes a very different reaction in me these days. So yeah.
I mean, I was like that when I was 32 when I got my first ever dog. And then suddenly I was like, I can't watch movies with dogs in it anymore because I'm worried about the dog the whole time. Shaun, how old is your oldest daughter?
She is turning 6 in about 17 days.
Now, so my daughter's 6 as well. So when is appropriate for them to watch Star Wars? And how and where do you start them? Because I want to get to them before.
That is my wife says never.
Okay.
And my answer to that is I already have. And the right answer is I don't know.
Okay. Because I want to get them. So I got twins. When I say them, they're both 6. I want to get them. There's a line where no interest, then a little bit of interest, and I want to get them before they learn elsewhere about Darth Vader being Luke's dad. I want that payoff. So I'm, there's do I show them now when they don't really care, or do I wait till they're 10 and risk that they find out Santa Claus isn't real and Darth Vader's Luke's dad?
Yeah, well, it's interesting because if you want,
there's no kids watching this.
I've gone. Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. Santa died.
I think the best thing for me is to maybe gauge their interest in the universe as a whole. So I introduced my daughter to Star Wars Rebels, which is a cartoon series. So I used to sit down and I started watching that with her, I think as young as about 3. And that was, for me, the closest thing ever to the original A New Hope and trilogy. It's a absolutely fantastic story It's got a ragtag group of characters that are all thrown together, very similar. So I feel if you start them with that and gauge their interest, if they get really invested, then follow on with the movies. If they watch that and then are kind of like, nah, yeah, that's all right. They might not like Star Wars. So, my little girl, she's fantastic, but, she always comes up to me and she goes, Dad, I'm really trying to like Star Wars. I know how much it means to you. Like, we're sitting in my cinema room. I'm surrounded by Star Wars posters. So I think she indulges me more than her actually liking it. But, I've shown her all the cartoon series, including the Bad Batch. And she's watched the original Star Wars movie as well as the Clone Wars movie. So, but she hasn't watched the rest.
Okay, so no Empire yet.
No.
So when she's in your cinema room looking up at the posters and there's Hayden Christensen, and then he's not on the posters anymore. She already. So it's like going, wait, hang on a sec. Where does that go?
She already knows. So
okay.
Yeah. So because she's like, oh, but hang on, Daddy. If that's his daddy, then doesn't that make him Anakin? And I was like, oh, you're too clever.
Yeah.
Good girl. So,
awesome.
But I love her. She's always like, but if he had C-3PO. Luke's got C-3PO. He wouldn't he know that he's his daddy? I'm like, oh no, he had his mind wiped. She's like, oh, how did the Jedi do that? I'm like, oh no, it's very fun. I love answering all those. My wife just rolls her eyes and leaves the room. So
yeah, I have a mate who's a huge Star Wars guy, and we love the movies, but we also love sitting down and hanging crap on them. Like stuff like in Rogue One, where C-3PO can't read the ancient Sith text or whatever, and then and then there's the so Anakin put together a droid for his mum, and then it was just like, oh, just quickly I'll put in that he can't read any ancient Sith text. Anyway, Mr. Vella. So Darth Vader, he's all black. You're a man who likes to sling a little bit of black. How are you approaching this one tonight?
Not using ink at all. I'm just using white paint, red paint, white pencil so far. And
wow.
ComX flyers.
Yeah, ComX flyers. I saw that.
Yes.
Yeah, wow.
And Ryan, mate, I have to say, Iron Maiden is real music.
That's right. I love Maiden. Hell yeah.
If anyone's seen Stranger Things, they'll get that little reference. But
yeah, love it.
I haven't watched much of that. I watched a bit of it. A bit of the first season. That was about it.
Nah, it's just there's one scene where this young kid's a metalhead, and he picks up a cassette tape and he goes, "This is real music," and it's an Iron Maiden cassette tape, and
awesome.
Iron Maiden actually tweeted that because it became a meme. Tweeted it saying, "Yes, Eddie, we think it is real music," which is pretty clever. So.
That's so cool.
That's cool.
Let's chat to Dave Dye real quick, who put out a new comic book this week. Chat to us, Dave. What are we? How are we approaching Darth Vader tonight?
From ground level, looking up.
Okay.
Worm's eye view, looking up towards him.
Are you a Star Wars guy, Dave?
Beg your pardon?
Are you a Star Wars guy?
No, not really. I've watched the movies and I enjoyed the first three. Did I like the first three? Yeah, I did like the first three. Then I went and watched the new ones that came out, and I think the first one was okay with the red-faced fella, the devil-looking bloke.
Oh yeah, Darth Maul, yeah.
Darth Maul, yeah.
And but I think the next one, I couldn't follow it, and so I don't know what happened. And then I didn't bother going to watch the sixth one. I didn't bother watching because I think I heard that was all animated or something, or all something like that. I never went and watched it. I thought, well, I didn't like the fifth one, so I didn't worry about it.
Yeah, a lot of that stuff was all green screen.
Yeah, right. Yeah, well, they started that with that floppy-eared bloke in the fourth one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jar Jar Binks.
Yeah, Jar Jar Binks. Yeah, that's right. And yeah, he had a name, but I just couldn't remember what it is. Yeah.
Annie.
And I've got this aversion to ever since I watched the Poseidon Adventure back in the 70s.
That's awesome.
Smart ass little kids being lead actors just never has done it for me since I saw that. So, you know, that's why probably I didn't really cotton onto the second series.
Funnily enough, Poseidon Adventure also turned me off going on a cruise ship. I've never gone on a cruise ship. Whenever opportunity arises, no thanks, I'm good.
See, I thought that would make you go on one because now you would know how to escape it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so, like go to the top / the bottom and hope a helicopter welds its way through it.
Knock on the roof, they'll cut a hole and you'll be saved.
Yeah.
It could happen.
Yeah, it could happen.
Nick May, give us something Darth Vader-ish.
Obviously, when the first Star Wars came out, Darth Vader's entrance in that movie, I think, was something that was burnt into the minds of all of my friends. And for a while there, we used to play Star Wars in primary school, and everybody wanted to be Darth Vader so they could lift some guy up by his throat and find out where the plans were. But probably the most meaningful Star Wars thing that happened was when Mum took us kids to go and see Return of the Jedi, and my little brother Dan was quite young at the time. And Mum was telling him that they were burning Darth Vader's costume. And me and my older brother were saying, no, they're burning the guy. The guy is on the pyre and burning him. And Dan saying, no, it's just his costume, right, Mum? It's just his costume. So, yeah, I didn't realise until then that Star Wars had the power to traumatize young children. So maybe keep your 6-year-olds away from it for a little while.
Yeah, and you also destroyed Dan's Christmases by telling him Santa wasn't real, I believe.
Surely that was my older brother. I still believe that I'm Santa and that I'm real. So.
You still could use the money. All right.
How did you approach drawing Darth Vader tonight, Nick?
You know, when you're driving along the road at night and suddenly there's a kangaroo in front of you and they're sort of stunned. That's how I approached it. I was I was completely unprepared, and I was thinking behind me somewhere. Oh, and I just found it. I've got this little Darth Vader thing, and I thought I'm never going to work out how to draw his head. And then I stepped off my bed, which is obviously where I do most of my drawing, and kicked this massive box, which is a Darth Vader life-size helmet that my brother-in-law gave me for Christmas. That was just there the whole time. And so I pulled it out of the box, and I thought, oh yeah, no, I really don't understand how his head works. So when you finally see my art tonight, you will probably notice something about my avoidance of his features.
You haven't drawn him like Ricky Moran. Is it Ricky Moranis in the that movie where he's just?
I was thinking
Spaceballs.
about going Spaceballs. Yeah,
baseball.
I didn't, Dave, because you still need to understand how the face is put together. So,
Oh right.
yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, whatever.
Well,
Whatever. It's not about
funnily-
me. It's about Darth Vader.
We actually have a man here who knows all about putting together Darth Vader's helmet and drawing it. Quick, do you want to give the people at home a little lesson on how to draw Darth Vader?
Sure, I can do that.
Yeah.
So my
Do you want some
station.
backing music, mate?
Oh, bring it. What would my track be?
I don't know. Do you want some dance pop, mate?
Some dance pop.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah,
So Darth
exactly.
Vader,
Give us some money.
pretty basic. You start with 2 circles. All right. Keep it simple. All right. We're halfway there. And just a triangle. Triangle mouth. That's a triangle. 2 circles and triangle. All right. Most kids will guess who that is by now, which is really fun game to school. And then we put some lines through it. A few more circles, maybe. And then he's kind of got a big brow. It's all about the brow. So we're keeping it simple tonight. And he's got these wing things. That's the helmet. And the round dome. And then you can kind of get angular. But that's pretty much the basics of Darth Vader.
Beautiful.
Right. Now, can you Mr.
Alright.
Squiggle it while we're here and turn it into something else? Flip it upside down and Mr. Squiggle it for us.
Yeah.
What if I gave you the old...
Hey,
Nick, I can't draw, and I'm pretty happy, mate. I've just followed your instructions, and
Oh, yeah?
done, mate.
Have you got
Oh, hang
something?
on. Yeah, go show us.
Hey!
Yeah,
That's
look at that.
Unreal.
Nice.
Inspiring.
That's awesome.
Disney now.
Nick art instruction.
That's it.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, Sis, it's
Very
about that
good.
time where we kind of have a look and see if anything's come in yet, and maybe
Yes,
pop
we have a
something
few.
up.
We will go with Dan May first because he sent his in first. I'll bring that
Oh,
twice,
very
everyone can
good.
see it.
Ah, cool.
Oh, that's a rip.
Oh,
Good on you,
Welcome,
Dan.
Dan.
Well done, mate.
Wicked.
Yeah.
The dark side and the light.
Yeah, nice. And then we've got the other May, Mr. Nick May.
Rad.
Very good.
Go down and up, Sis.
Love those shoes.
Can you down and up?
Oh, sorry, can't you see it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, nice.
Ah,
That
That's not
was
a moon
when
in the
Darth
background.
Vader was inspired after watching Karate Kid. He was doing a crane kick.
Sean, if they say a picture's come up and you can't see it, just say I can't see it and Sizzle will bloody flip
Yeah,
it.
you
a
can,
couple
sometimes you
times
got to bring it up
and
twice for some reason. I don't get it.
Now I'm trying to put something quick together right now, but in the meantime, I misunderstood the task, and I ended up drawing Snorth Vodar, little known character. So there he is, Snorth Vodar.
Ripper, mate. Very
I saw
good.
someone doing graffiti stuff on Instagram. I wanted to try it, and I thought I'll try it with old Snorth Vodar. Okay,
Oh,
I was
very
drawing
good,
Darth
mate.
Vader and it wasn't turning out too well. So let's just call him Snorth.
I was going to say, I could see that on Disney Plus on the Star Wars Visions. You know, they did the different styles and different
Yeah.
animated shorts, mate. There you go.
I think it actually looks like when you go to a $2 shop and they have like the Marvel's Super Maniacs or whatever, and there's like a Batman and a badly painted Darth Vader and all that stuff.
Yes.
I'm like, no, that's Snorth. Anyway. All right. Well, we're at that part of the show where I start running out of things to say. So let's just start jive talking. Who's got what? Tell me a story. I want to know stuff. Sis, what have you been doing? What's been cracking around ComX HQ?
Oh,
Yeah.
well, actually, now that you mention it, these came in yesterday.
Bin Kitty.
Oh, the
Oh,
Bin Kitty variants.
Yeah.
Wow.
Bin Kitty variants,
Nice.
and I've been packing them up for about half of today. So they will hopefully be sent out to everybody Monday. And of course, there's the main cover.
Yep.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
awesome.
Duncan Prenovicius.
Beautiful.
Beautiful
Yeah,
work.
Duncan Prenovicius work there.
He's a sexy beast.
Yes, he's a
yeah.
There you are, Mr. May.
Oh dear.
Sorry, Dan.
What about you, Quick? What's been going on in Quickland?
It's one of those things. I'm trying to draw a comic. I'm like, I'm just going to stick to 8 pages. And then I'm like up to page 6. I'm like, yeah, probably going to get to 14 at this point. So I'm always kicking myself. But I'm enjoying the process and all those wonderful things. What about you, Ryan? What are you working on? What's your next project?
Actually, Battery Hen #1.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, cool.
I was going to do a thing called Muzzle Burn, but I kind of merged it all together and it's supposed to be Battery Hen. Yep, first full issue. Okay, you want to publish this, Sizzle?
Yeah, I'd love to.
If you want, it's all yours. Otherwise, yeah.
Awesome.
I've got a home
I'm
for
there.
it, but I've got it all written in that, so that's probably my next thing. Yeah.
Cool.
Cool. Making deals live on the show.
May, how's your stuff?
Verbal agreement. It's all there. It's been sealed and delivered.
RoboCop 2000. Tell us about him. When's he dropping?
Good. That's an excellent question. It's an excellent question. I'm getting some plotting tips from my guru, young Nicholas, up the top there. So
Yeah.
the story's taking its time to make itself known to me, but it's coming, Rob. It's coming. You'll be the one drawing it when I've finished with the story. So yeah. So and then
I
Sizzle
kind of actually would be down for that.
I'm
So.
not sure. Sweet.
Dave,
Yeah.
why not tell us a little something about this? Or should I maybe tell something about this? I'll just say something. And then
Righto, mate.
you fill in the gaps. So,
Okay.
Amazing Tales #5 dropped a week ago. I finally grabbed a copy. Dave, would you say it's 75% a drop ship 15 story? And then it's got some added bonuses, the Buffalo Hunter.
What do we got? About 16 pages. So it'd be about half.
Yeah, right.
50%. Yeah. Because there's
And
3
then
other
you've got a-
stories in there.
Yeah, bushfire story, and then this awesome skeet shoot story. I don't want to spoil
Tell
it,
it, mate.
but
No, you won't
can I-
spoil it. Tell the whole thing.
well, so basically, imagine little aliens coming down to Earth in a little flying saucer that's
Maybe not the
suspiciously
punchline.
shaped like one of those. What do they call those? Those clay pigeons. And
Yeah,
so
sweet.
this little flying saucer inadvertently finds itself thrown into the air alongside these clay pigeons, and dudes are shooting at it, and these little dudes have to evade in order to save their lives. And it's a good time. And the souvenir story from Dropship 15. 50% of the book is a new Dropship 15 story. Gets kind of deep in parts, Dave.
Yeah, well, that's thanks to you, mate. Thank you very much for helping me get through that.
I still managed to get some turd burglar jokes in there, or berg turgler, I should say, not turd burglar. Well worth picking up. Available now on Owner Indie. Grab the whole set while you're there.
Always a bit of humour in there in those stories. Always crack a bit of humour in with the drama and the adventure. Thanks, Pete. The bushfire story was originally done for the bushfire a charity
Australia
thing.
Burns.
Australia Burns. But they changed. Well, editors changed, and originally, because I was one of the first people to get the okay to go on with it. I was one of the 5 or 6 people who, on the first day, said, "Yeah, we'll do something," and they said, "Yeah, well, okay." And I sent the script. Yeah, that's good. Go ahead and do it. But then in the end, it was deemed as being too long, so it didn't get put into the actual printed version, which was very disappointing for me.
Yeah.
I had a lot of feedback on that story because some people actually bought the digital one, where it was in the digital one, and the people who read that contacted me. I had about 4 or 5 people contact me just out of the blue. Dave, that story in Bushfire was absolutely fantastic. It really nailed it. You got drama, you got pathos, you've got humor. It's got it, mate, and it's very educational.
Yeah, there's some.
I've had really good reviews on that.
You can tell you spent time as a firefighter too, because it's. I mean, I assume I've never been a firefighter, but it's very the lingo, is very deep cuts, as they say. Very you'd have to.
Yeah, well, that's right.
Have done some time.
I was a fiery for 14 years, full-time fiery.
Yeah, wow.
So, I know the lingo and all that. I know the experiences. It's sort of based loosely on an actual event that happened to me.
Okay.
So it's sort of based on that. That's why it's probably got a bit extra authenticity. But all those stories in those, basically, I draw on from my life experiences. That you got the kids one with the skeet sheep. We used to shoot slug guns all the time when we were kids. Probably a few of you people had slug guns and that when you were kids.
I did.
You hot shot and shoot your mate and all that sort of stuff. That was all part of the
my
fun.
brother shot me in the foot.
And that story's in there. That's from my youth. The Dropship 15 is sort of the sort of thing that maybe not the actual events in that, but a lot of the things that happen in there, I draw on from my military experience to give it the authenticity. The sort of background stories in there, or the background, the meat, or what do you call it, the little polishing bits in there, anyway.
Yeah.
And the ringers, the buffalo hunt story. I was a station hand up at Julia Creek. I was a ringer up there for a season and loved it, mustering and branding and all that good stuff we did. It was a great life. If you ever get a chance, get up there and do it. And all those experiences really helped to shape me to what I am now.
So Dave was shaped by a story of a man who's trying to escape a raging buffalo, basically climbs a tree and then tries to scare the buffalo away with fire, only he accidentally sets fire to the tree that he's in. So he tries to save himself with the only water source, well, let's say liquid source that he could that is available to him, and things don't go as planned.
That's right.
Yeah, if you like the cut of Dave Dye's jib, he pours himself into every word in his books. It's
Thanks,
worth
mate.
a look.
Appreciate you doing that. All right, you better start talking about something else now. Thank you very much, mate.
Got some Dick Tracy vibes going on there.
A little bit.
Thanks, mate. Yeah, look at that. I had hair when I was a fiery.
Got burnt off, did it?
He got burnt off, yeah.
So I for those playing at home who are like, oh, look at how much Spedgy draws in an hour. I've been cheating for the last 6 months. I draw before the show because I just can't. So tonight I cheated and I draw people were already getting thousands of comments about Snorth Vodar. But so I tried to draw within the hour and I didn't make it. There he is. Not going to finish it in time.
Good, mate.
I had to bail on it. It just wasn't getting there.
Looks awesome.
Yeah. I was like, I don't have time to put the buttons on the bottom. So, yeah. But we do have something else that's popped through.
Yes.
Another from the May clan
Yep, from Michelle herself. I'll whack it up.
Wow.
Nice work, Michelle.
Oh, yeah.
Cool.
I believe that's
Fantastic.
on a coaster.
Well done. Well
Yeah, she
done,
said it's on
Michelle.
a coaster. So
Yeah,
yeah.
if you follow Michelle on Instagram, her art account, she's been painting coasters, and yeah,
Oh,
that's
right.
bloody awesome. That's one of those things that if she gave you the coaster, though, you wouldn't want to put your drink on it because you wouldn't want to wreck it.
Sure enough.
That's awesome, Michelle. Nice work.
Yep, very nice.
Mr. Vella, how you traveling, sir?
Yeah, I'm done. Both.
Hey,
Oh,
should we
sweet.
take a look?
All right. No, wait. It's the best way to see what it's like.
Yeah,
Cool.
That's awesome.
yeah,
Wow.
that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's
Well
very
done,
cool.
Those fire eyes.
Yeah, the lighting's a bit
Done
shit
the
here.
white out, is it?
It's hard to show because it's black so much, I suppose. Yeah, a bit of white out, white pencil, and a bit of red acrylic paint.
Oh, right, mate. Yeah.
Pretty
Nice.
much.
Hey, when you did the red, did you have to put the white down first and then do the red over the top? Did you?
Yeah, I did. I put like a heap of different things.
Yeah, right.
But when I scanned it, it through better. So, yeah, I've never really done too much. I've done a little bit of stuff white on black, but not too much.
Mm.
A couple
Yeah,
of
mate.
pages.
You did a great job tonight.
Next stop, Sin City.
Yeah. I tell you that
That-
question there, Dave. Those are some of my favorite moments in the show when you have two dudes who are awesome at their craft and they compare notes. Just like, how do you do that this way? Yeah, I do it. Yeah, I reckon. I love those. That's why we do this show, mate.
Yeah.
Learning,
thanks,
man.
dude.
Stuff.
Learning.
Good stuff, Ryan. Well done, mate.
Thanks, Dan.
And
I'll scan it when it's dry.
Yeah, how would
Yeah.
a scanner go with that? Won't the scanner be like, there's nothing on the screen, everything's black?
We'll find out, I suppose. Hey.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's pretty dry by scanning.
Well, I was going to say, I guess that brings us to my piece of crap
ah, yes.
Oh, can't
because
wait.
we've done everyone else's, and we've sort of seen
Wait,
Uh,
let me get you some music.
made. So I didn't get to ink this
Yeah.
time.
Oh, yeah, mate. Good on you. Is that one of those little
Oh dear! Oh, I got music. Oh wow!
good on you, sis?
It's a very Funko Pop.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
kind of. It's
Yes.
a weird combination of that.
It's great.
Well done, sis. You're getting better and better.
Nice work, Stiz.
It's the new Scotty Young, mate. Sizzle.
Oh, I don't think so. That's like the worst one I've done so far, to be honest.
No, that was good. You could work for Funko designing that. You should design ComX pops.
Oh, ComX Pops, nice.
I was going to say it looked a bit like a vinyl pop. Pop vinyl. Pop vinyl, is
I
it?
think my reference was semi. It was like somewhere in between a pop vinyl and yeah.
In a way, we're all finished in time.
There's
Well, we've
mine
got one
finished.
last
Yeah,
picture.
have you seen mine finished? There it is.
Yeah, hang on. We'll zoom into yours, Dave,
Okay.
before I do the next one.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
That's awesome. Love the
That's cool.
reflection of the lightsaber.
Brilliant, David.
And a bit of splatter going on.
Yeah, Ryan inspired me there.
Oh, nice.
Well, we give back and forth on ComX. Good work.
When I saw yours, Dave, that's why I added some red highlights. When I saw you with it.
Oh, right, mate.
Oh, nice.
See, stealing off each other. That's the way to go.
Still on each other. I like it.
Anyway.
There's another one of those moments, guys.
I feel like he's about to use the Force, and that's why everything's going off him. He's building up his power. So,
Yeah,
When it's
just
like
while we're
that,
talking
it's
about.
distorted, isn't it? When it's like that, it's better.
I will show you. I do have a original piece of Star Wars art.
Oh.
And if you give me 2 seconds, I'll grab
Yep.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the meantime, I'll show you some other Dave Dye splattery goodness.
Oh yeah.
I just happened to. I was about to throw away the packaging of Amazing Tales, and I was like, wait, there's something else in there. And sure enough, it was Dave's picture of Rosie. It's even written out, to Spedsy, best wishes cover. So yeah, framed, ready to go. Yeah, all right.
See those little characters
Brilliant.
down there? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
I was
one of them
inspired
Sizzle?
by buddy Lee Chalker. That Lee Chalker helped inspire
Oh,
me
yeah,
to do
yeah.
that.
Oh, what have we got here? Hang on,
And,
Sean's holding up.
Oh,
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Whack,
So
oh, mate, who did
that is the cover from Star Wars Republic 73. So this is the actual cover from the comic book. So
Wow.
Right.
done in charcoal. It's absolutely
Wow.
beautiful. So,
Charcoal.
Oh, right. Jeez, mate. Yeah.
So, Sean, is Star Wars like your favorite genre, pop culture-y thing?
oh, jeez.
You're wearing an Avengers hat.
Yeah, yes and no. I've got a bunch of so I designed my cinema room, which I'm in at the moment, as Star Wars themed. So you'll notice behind me, I've got all of the different Star Wars posters and all that type of stuff. But in my office, which I probably should be when I'm doing these type of things, that is Spartacus themed. So I've got the original Kirk Douglas debut poster. I've got a shield from the Stars Spartacus series from Dan Furigul, and I've got a couple of screen use swords from the series as well. I've got a poster of The Walking Dead, which has about 27 autographs on them.
Mate, The Walking Dead, you can see The Walking Dead every night when you tune into this show.
and then I've got one of my prized possessions is and what got me into comics was Jim Lee's 4 cover spread for the X-Men in the 90s. So I have a original art print from the 90s signed by him, Chris Claremont, and Stan Lee. And that's that's one of my prized possessions. So
that in a vault, in a bank vault somewhere, is it? You don't get to see it once a year.
Up on the wall. Everyone's like, "Oh, tell us where you live," because I've got the original Star Wars debut posters up as well. And everyone's like, "Oh, what's your address?" So
if I was to commission Jim Lee to draw Spartacus killing zombies with a lightsaber, I pretty much I'd win Christmas.
Mate, I tell you what, if it was like an original drawing like I just showed you, I'd pay about 10 grand for that.
Wow.
All right. Well, I'll get him to do it for 8, and I'll make a nice 2 grand.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, yeah, nice.
He's expensive, man.
Yeah.
I saw a really cool X-Men page, and I'm kicking myself now for sale, and it was about $1,800 US, and I was like, "Oh, that's a lot of money. Do I really want to spend that money?" Blah blah. Jim Lee, and I didn't, and I'm absolutely kicking myself now because all of his artwork is 10K or more type of thing. So so
I remember I was at a Melbourne Supernova or something, and there was this American artist who was invited. I can't remember his name. I don't know who he was, but I went around and I was having a look because I had a table around the other side, and I thought, I'll have a look at this bloke, and I had a look at his original art. Beautiful stuff, but he had about $5,000 on a page or something. And I was going to say, I don't think you're going to sell many of these, mate. Not here. Not at that boy.
Was it Sydney Supernova? Was it Humberto Ramos?
No, it would have been Melbourne. I haven't done a Sydney Supernova, so
it
would have been a Melbourne.
It was Alex Major.
Might have been. Before I knew him.
Because I was going to say, I took up all of my original artwork that I had from him, and he was quite surprised because I had stuff that he worked on in the 90s for Marvel. He worked on a series called X Nation because I was a big X-Men 2099 fan. and that was like old school. All of the lettering was taped onto the page, and everything like that. And he usually charges for signatures, but because I had all of his original artwork, he signed everything for me for free. I thought it was amazing. So yeah.
Do people in Australia do we pay thousands of dollars for an original artwork?
Yeah, I think Mark Ratz. I think you got to be like next level. I think to be able to charge that amount of money. But yeah, I think there's definitely. I think with anything, there's a market. It's just about finding that market and where to go. And I think that's where I've tried to take my business is find those gaps in the market and then kind of fill those little holes. But it's definitely a fine art, if you want to call it.
I guess it is. Yeah, it is fine art. Of course, it is. Yeah. Did Ryan say he would pay thousands? Was he saying yes?
I don't buy any art, so.
I was gonna. Yeah.
I've never been into.
Too busy making it, mate.
I do my own art. I don't need to buy anything.
Yeah. I know. I'm the. Yeah, I've got paintings on my wall, my own paintings, most of them.
I take gifts of people's art, and they're like, I like that.
Yeah, I'll take that. Same as me, mate.
I've never and I'll put it on
me too, mate. Yeah, me too, mate. Well, speaking of,
you can't afford it. You can't afford that stuff. It's too expensive. Well,
Well, no, and that, like, I'm talking a lot of money, but I can tell you I'm the biggest tight ass there is. I didn't spend anywhere near that type of money on all this stuff. I've had it for years, and I've kind of only that I've got into my forever home, I call it, that I've been able now to put it up on the wall. But that's why I say there's no way.
Yeah, it's like an investment, isn't it, Sean?
I love that.
It's like an investment, mate, because if you've bought early when it was cheaper, now, 10 years later, you're doubling the money probably.
And it's funny, you talk about, like, Rob, you're talking about your kids and whether they're going to be interested in Star Wars and everything. Like, I got a great Star Wars comic collection that's, worth a nice penny as well. But I tell you what, I reckon when I go, it's going to be one of these things where they go, garage sale, my dad was a Star Wars fan, everything's $1. And that, I've literally, I've said to my wife, there is an app on my phone. I have everything listed and how much it's worth. Don't sell it for $1 because it's worth a lot more than that. But she's like, well, I'm not going to spend the time bloody doing it. I don't care. And I was like, okay, there we go.
Someone's going to get a bargain.
Yeah, I think with anything, something is only as worth as much as someone's willing to pay. Like you guys are all artists. You'll have one person that will look at your artwork and go, won't bat an eyelid to spend $200 on a commission. But then you'll have someone else come up and go, well, I don't want to pay over $10.
That's too true.
Yeah.
Very true.
Yeah.
Righto, Sis, do your thing, mate.
Well, we've still got the Alex Major. He sent this one in. So we've got our little GIF.
Yeah.
Hey.
Who's that? Spider-Man.
No, it's Dark Nebula.
Dark Nebula.
Dark Nebula, that's great.
Who's he pointing at? Shaun Keenan. Yes.
Shaun Keenan's the sexiest man in the room.
It's like he's still got the Alex has kept his signature nose. Look at that cute little nose.
How good is it? Yeah.
Fun.
And even Dark Nebula's got a hint of it underneath there.
Oh, yeah.
But maybe.
Oh, very good, Alex, as usual, mate. Yeah,
absolutely awesome. Thanks, Alex.
Well done, mate.
All right, well, let's go into the last segment and talk about ourselves for a minute.
This poor person is looking through the newspaper for info on what projects our artists have been working on. And this lost individual is using a map to find where she can follow our artists on social media and buy their books. How about we save them the trouble and just tell them? We call this next segment shameless self-promotion.
Well, I'd just like to say sorry to the people down the bottom, but
Hey.
ComX.shop. That's where you can buy a whole bunch of different indie comics from different Australian creators. One place, one postage rate. Thank you very much.
Very good. I've shopped there. Very good shop, that one.
Yeah,
Thanks,
and
Dave.
I believe I've said it before. No one packs comics like Sizzle packs comics. You order a couple of comics from Sizzle, and you get enough packaging to send 1,000 Devil's Toilets to people.
1,000.
Hell yeah!
Now that's an idea.
Didn't know it was that good. Wow.
Speaking of Devil's Toilet, you can find him and a whole bunch of other stuff at psychojanitor.com. I'm also have teamed up with a writer by the name of Tony Huddy, who is doing a bi-weekly webcomic, and I am on art duty over at Webtoon. So if you were to Google or search or whatever for The Hero Complex, you will find one chapter every fortnight. So go check it out. Otherwise, at Spedsy is where all my stuff is on all social whatnots. Cool-wickless.
Hey, I like to do my little share now. Here's one of my pictures. I failed quick tonight. Some missing customers from tonight. Clearly you won't find them though.
Katie and Nick.
DetectiveBudgie.com. That's where you go. That's where you find them. All right, who's next?
And on that note, I'll just throw in Katie says sorry, her internet was playing up tonight.
Yeah, she has a new book out too called Dark Heart. I'm pretty sure that's what it's called.
Okay, cool.
So we're going to chat to her soon about it because it looks awesome. I mean, Katie's doing art, so it's awesome. But Brian, tell us some stuff.
Just find my stuff with ComX. Yep.
Nailed it.
Awesome.
Easy.
Thanks, Ryan.
You're got away with words there, Ryan, mate. I was very
I'm
impressed.
on fire tonight. I'm on fire.
What do you got, Dave? How's Beowulf come?
I've finished Beowulf inking anyway. So that's all inked now.
Nice.
How many pages? Holy moly, how many
24.
pages?
24 pages there.
24, yeah.
And now is this Amazing Tales 6?
Yeah, that'll be Amazing Tales number 6. I'm working on the cover. If this works out all right, this will be the cover. I've got to put a lot more contrast into this. I've got to build this up a bit. This is a watercolor, but it's not quite there yet. Still a lot of work to do on that. Hopefully that'll work out all right. And my stuff's available on the ComX shop and also at Owner Indie.
Dave, would that be one of the shortest gaps between Amazing Tales issues? If you would, because I imagine, wow, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Big year for what was left comics.
That's right. Over to Nick. Chernobyl.
I've got a couple of pages in the new Silver Fox book, The Zombie Basketballer. So head to the Silver Fox site to find out when and where you can get that. I've also got some work in Vamoose that you can get from Rob at Psychojanitor. And you can find some of my art on Instagram at Chernobyl. Over to you, Sean.
And it's good stuff too.
Okay, well, I'll try not to be too long, but I've got Aquila coming out in about the next 6 weeks. XCT Most Wanted Remastered will be coming out after that. Issue 2 of Talus of Sparta. We'll have Volume 3 of Fractured Shards. We will also be doing Volume 4 of Terralympus. And wish me luck, because next week we are at the Melbourne International Film Festival pitching XCT to TV and film producers. So
Good.
that's us. You can find us at Comics2movies everywhere.
And I am ready to be a background character that just gets killed in just quickly in one of the early tournaments. Just remember, I can act. Oh, don't hurt me. So yeah, I'm ready. That's all right. Well,
Wow.
You know how many family members have said that, mate?
yeah.
Even the
And-
ones I haven't seen in years. No.
And look, we're on this show, mate. We're all family. So you know, think of me the same way you think of your. Anyway, moving on. All right. Well, we're here every week, every Friday. So we'll be back next week, right? Unless someone kicks us off the internet. So big thank you to everyone who's watching. Thank you to all those in the room. Thank you to Sizzle for hosting us once again. And I guess that's it.
Yep.
What do you think,
Thank you very
Sizz?
much, everyone. Yep. Oh, Spider-Man. Nice.
Awesome.
Cool. Cheers, all.
See you guys.
The show has
Thanks for having
died. It is dead. But in 1 week, like a phoenix, it will rise again. So stop the crying at once. Instead, head to ComX.shop and dry your tears on a copy of Amazing Tales by Dave Dye. The Devil's Toilet by Spedsy. ComX Presents featuring Ed Kearsley, Tony Menzie, Duncan Pranavicius, Peter Wilson, Lee Chalker, Zach George, and so much more. The list is longer than this outro. See you next Friday for more drinking and drawing. Alright Sizzle, press the button. Sizzle. Don't make me come over there and butter your crumpet. Sizzle, doink the thing. I shouldn't have to scold you like this in front of your friends. Slap your honk on the thing. Sizzle, I can see your cupcakes. I mean, they look delicious. Are those sprinkles?